Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Saturday, February the 11th. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. We're going to take a look at the Gulfstream Park card, which includes 3 graded stakes races as well as a late pick 4. And we will start in the 9th. It's on the turf, the Grade 3 Suwannee River for fillies and mares going 1 mile and an eighth. And I thought a fairly well-matched group here. You got Sandiva, who just had a nice win over the course. Where did you land?
Yeah, you picked her last time. You might want to rub that in because I thought she was kind of past her prime, but she proved that in the Marshalls River, she was best. And there's 3 horses that are coming out of that race that all will get bet here. And I think when you're looking at multi-legs, you need to take them all into consideration. But I settled on 2 horses here, and it happens to be the mare that I picked last time, Seacoast, who Sandiva beat by half length. And I think when I watched it back, Cafaleon took Seacoast to the inside, kind of dove to the inside. It was the only shot he had, and Sandiva got a nice trip a little bit further out. So I think those 2 were the best horses in that race, although Dickinson got the worst of everything. She didn't get a very good trip at all. So if I were looking at multi-legs and I was going deep in here, I'd use Seacoast, Sandiva, and Dickinson, all that came out of that race. The other horse that I liked in here, Goldie Esponi, has got a lot of gate speed, but she's been off since December of 15, so you got to think that she's going to need it. But she also shortens up from 1.5 miles to 1.8 miles. Seems like 1.5 miles is her best distance, so I think Chad's just getting one into her. But she's going to get a lead here, and she can go a long way if nobody challenges her on the lead. I think Sandiva is probably the most likely winner. I think Seacoast is close behind her, and I think that if you cover those horses, the other Chad Brown, Alicia's World, possibly, if she goes here instead of going to Tampa. But I think those will cover you, and I would take Sandiva and Seacoast as my top 2 picks in the pick 4.
Sandiva, I think, is probably, or certainly the one to beat. I ended up going to Alicia's World, if, like you said, if she goes here. To me, if she goes here, I think this is a tougher spot than the race in Tampa. And if she goes here, then it suggests confidence to me from Chad Brown. This is a 4-year-old, so I think she still has upside left, and she equaled her Beyer top off a layoff, so I like that as far as the potential now to move forward in the next start. But I would use 5 horses in the pick 4 that we'll talk about a little later, and in this race I would box these 5 in an exacta. Sandiva, Seacoast, Dickinson, and Goldie Esponi, all with Alicia's World is how I would play it. But I'm going to do a little bit of a shaky win pick on Alicia's World if she does end up running here. 10th race, Grade 1, Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap. This one also 1 mile and an eighth, 4-year-olds and up. And I went to Beach Patrol here. I think there's 2 or 3 that I could have gone to. Divisadero, who I picked last time, and I thought ran like he needed the race. Almanar could easily be talked into that one. But Beach Patrol's a Grade 1 winner. Chad Brown obviously excels off the layoff, and this horse is working really well for his first start in 2 months. And just seemed to have some tough luck last year, and I think might be poised to have kind of a real breakout year. And I'm going to go with Beach Patrol here, but I also like Divisadero and Almanar. War Correspondent would be the next one. And then the 7-horse EIRIGH, Erai, maybe, for Todd Pletcher, would be the next one. I'd use probably all of those in my pick 4 ticket. How about you?
Yeah, I have trouble with those horses I can't pronounce. I just don't pick them. So,
good strategy.
I think this is similar to the other turf. You're in the business
That's
of pronouncing things correctly, so you've got to do it. I think this race is very similar to the race we just handicapped. There's 3 horses coming out of the same race, which was the Fort Lauderdale on January 14th. Flatline, Divisadero, and Almanar, and they finished within less than a length of each other. And if you watch it back, Divisadero came flying on the outside. Flatline came flying just on the inside. Divisadero got a little bit better trip, and Almanar just got beat by neck. So I don't know how you can separate those 3. So in the pick 4, I'm going to use those 3 plus Beach Patrol, who would be probably my pick based on Chad Brown and the fact that he ran the Hollywood Derby last time out, only got beat 1.5 lengths to Annals of Time, another Chad Brown horse, and has really faced better company. 3 Grade 1s in his past line. So I think from a class standpoint, the fact that Chad ships him here to run in this spot helps, and the other 3 are tough. But the Divisadero is my pick from a standpoint of wanting somebody to win, because I love Buff Bradley's stable and the fact that he's still a small farm in Frankfort, and Devisadero looked like he needed that race last time out and just barely got beat. And with a little bit better trip, I think he can win this. And I would use a lot of horses in one pick 4, but Devisadero would be my sentimental pick, and I think you might get a little bit of a price because Beach Patrol's in here. Devisadero and Beach Patrol, those two, box them in exacta and take the others in a trifecta and use 4 or 5 in the pick 4, I think.
11th race is a grade 2. It's the Gulfstream Park Handicap on the main, and they're going a mile, 4-year-olds and up. Where did you land here?
You know, those first two are puzzles. I think this one is fairly easy. As soon as I say that, it's going to be a wide open race. But I think everything sets up perfectly. If Jorge Navarro could have written a script for a race, it would be this one, because Sharp Azteca, to me, has the best gate speed, drawn outside the other potential speed, and I think just controls this race from start to finish. A little bit of a layoff since December 26th. The Beyer pattern 101 in November at Laurel, came back to Santa Anita and almost won the Malibu, got beat by very good Mind Your Biscuits. 3 for 3 at the mile distance, 2 for 2 mile distance at Gulfstream. And if you look at those back in February and April of last year, an 88 and 83 Beyer won by 4 and by 7.5 wire to wire. And I think that's what he does here with Sharp Azteca. Zayas knows him well. I think Sharp Azteca, in the flow of this race, even though Tommy Macho won the last time out easily, High Riverside's good, Realm, Squadron A, you can make a case for other horses, but I just think the flow of the race sets up perfectly for Sharp Azteca, and that will be my single in the pick 4. I would use Tommy Macho as a secondary pick, but I think Sharp Azteca goes wire to wire here.
I'm going to go Tommy Macho, and it's one of those two for me. But I like that 105 Beyer in the first start off the bench, lifetime best fig, and this one's won twice at a mile as well. And I think they've always had a high opinion of this guy, and maybe he's finally starting to realize it with that last performance and that Beyer figure being as high as it was. To me, I think it's either him or Sharp Azteca. Zulu and Realm would be others that I would look at if you want to expand. But I could see taking for the win play, you could take Tommy Macho and Sharp Azteca both over top of, that would be 1 and 7, and then take them over 1-7 over 1-7, and then as far as you want to go, and maybe try to hope a bigger price gets in the 2-hole behind one of those others, and you can split them in the exacta. 12th race is a claiming race on the turf. I ended up going 4 deep in the pick 4. Candy at My Place for Mike Maker, I think, is the one that I took, even though it's not a great post. I've seen horses down there overcome that outside post on the turf course. So let's go to the pick 4. I'm going to use the 5 I mentioned in the Sewanee River, the 5 I mentioned in the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap. Then in the next leg, it's kind of, I would say, because I'm going to use the 4 horses in the last leg, the 12, 6, 9, and 10. So in the 11th race, if your budget allows, take Tommy Macho and Sharp Azteca. If you want to cut that in half, then I'm going to single Tommy Macho, but I wouldn't feel real confident doing it with Sharp Azteca in there. So that's the way I would play it, because I have trouble narrowing it down in the other races. How about you?
I'm going to give the players a couple options here. The first pick 4 that I would play based on my picks would be 2 deep in the first leg, Seacoast the 1 and Sandiva the 6. With 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the second leg, Almanar, Luke's Alley, who's a horse that I think has a shot at a price there. Beach Patrol the 4, Flatline the 5, and Devisadero the 6. Single Sharp Azteca the 7 in the 11th, and go 4 or 5 deep in the last, depending on whether Starship Zorro draws in for the 14-hole. I'm like you, the 12-hole doesn't kill you at a 7.5 furlong turf race at Gulfstream. So I'm going to go Seuss the 3 would be my top pick, Gelfenstein the 9, Hempstead Heath the 6, Candy at My Place the 12, and Starship Zorro the 14. So that ticket 1, 6, 4, 5, 6 with 7 with 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 is $25 for 50 cents. If you want to flip it and you don't like my single Sharp Azteca and you want to take a shot here, I would go 1, 6 and then single Devisadero the 6 in the second leg, and you're going to get a nice little price. I don't think he's going to be an overwhelming favorite by any stretch of imagination. And then just use all, if you want to, in the race that we like, Sharp Azteca and Tommy Macho, and hope for a price. And then the same 5 horses in the last leg, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, that ticket costs you $45. So 2 options there. If you like my single Sharp Azteca, if you don't, I would take a shot with the Visadero in the second leg and hope to get a 5-to-1 shot or something as a single.
Best of luck with your wagers on the Saturday card. Across the state over at Tampa, they have a nice card on Saturday, too. They've got a Derby prep. The Sam F. Davis is a prep for the Tampa Bay Derby. So got some supporting stakes races on that card, so you might want to take a look at that one as well. Best of luck on your wagers this Saturday, and we will be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.